Hello guys, Wahoo here, back with the first actually ever live podcast. You can see right here, we're actually doing it live. It's a podcast where we kind of introduce a fellow streamer and also go into kind of the everything with the which was on the last live stream from devs, but we're also taking in actually what we just saw, which was actually the new class. We're going to get into that. So we just saw the new class introduced, and I'm not going to spoil anything before we get later into the video and you guys see this. And I am Wahoo, if you don't know me, and today our guest is KillerT, and he can introduce himself a little bit now.
Hi, my name is KillerT800. I've been playing Trove since the release on Steam. I've started streaming like a few months ago, and overall I've been playing Trove for a very long time, and I'm still a free-to-play player.
Yeah, exactly. That's some of the things we are going to talk about today. Is that we're going to talk about you being a free. Oh, I'm messing up the UI. That you are a free-to-play player and you are in the end game, if you can say it like that. So, or you actually have more mastery than I have, and I won't say I'm definitely not a free-to-play player. I do also benefit from some of the free stuff, but I have bought a few packs and stuff like that. But you are actually a completely free-to-play player, and I always have been. So,
yeah.
To talk about going into it now, the free to play, can you talk about a little bit about what is your mastery then? Now where I'm saying you have more than me, and like
at the moment my mastery is 492. Tomorrow it will be 493, and hopefully I'll hit 494 and 95 of about the end of next week.
End of next week. So what are the plans? What you got like in store to hit those? You know, you said something about tomorrow there was a dragon, right?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be unlocking the Volcatron. Then I'll be doing another. During the week I'll be doing adventure and farming, so I can get basically all the other mounts and allies out of the merch.
Yeah, the remaining, there's like, am I mistaken, 11 allies, right? Or 9 allies, and then like 6 mounts or something like that?
I can check in 1 second.
Yeah, I think it's about that, and I think the mounts give like 50 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, like 50 mastery.
4 mounts and 10 allies.
Yeah, okay, 10 allies, okay. The allies, I'm pretty sure, give like 25, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope.
I think that's,
10 mastery each.
Oh, 10 mastery only?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's not that's not a lot. So
in total it's 560.
So what is like your what is your approach to being a free-to-play player? What is your like struggles? Well, I would probably say, you can kind of say it, probably what somebody would say is a struggle.
Struggle?
How is the grind, maybe? Like, how's the
grind?
Yeah.
Well,
what do you do as a free-to-play player? What is like the most that takes out of you, you know?
The farming time. Has to be definitely the farming time.
Yeah.
I spent so many hours farming.
At the moment, 70 hours a week, or
every day?
7 hours a week. Sorry,
no.
Sorry, I heard
70.
Sorry, I heard 70 hours. I was like 70 hours a day. That's impressive.
No, 3 hours a day. That's what I try to hit. So I can form my basic goals for each day.
Yeah.
When I do on weekends, I go from 3 hours to around to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, depending
Yeah.
how I feel and what I actually need to farm.
And you stream most of those hours, right?
Yeah, I mainly now stream most of what I farm nowadays.
Yeah. And you recently hit over 5 million core
No,
efficiency stat,
not
right?
yet. Not yet.
Oh, yet? Okay.
I'm still super close, like 30k co-efficiency
Oh,
away.
okay. Well,
So not,
basically almost. But I guess the real, speed runners or whatever is going to be like very keen on being 5 million.
yeah, it's 5 million, but for pirate captains, it has to be at least 5.1.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit more criteria, or
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
it's because of the pass of pirate captain. As we know, gunslingers have a pass of 15% critical hits, so they can have
Oh.
extra HP in the end. While pirate
Okay.
captains have an extra 60 critical damage. So they need more. They don't need rolls in critical hit, but they need. They cannot use those extra critical hits as gunslinger has to HP. They need it for critical hit, so I can boost that coefficient up.
Oh, okay, like that, yeah. Okay, but if we're talking core efficiency, damage core efficiency, and if somebody doesn't know what damage core efficiency is, it's basically your main damage as either physical or magic compared to how much critical damage you have, because you're gonna have like the 100% crit. You have to get that first. That's a given. But then it's compared to how much critical damage you have compared to how much main stat you have. And then there's a calculation. So some in-game players use this to kind of calculate people's DPS instead of, because we don't have damage meters and stuff like that. And you can actually have, like, let's say, I don't think you can have 25,000 power rank and still, have really, really like a million core efficiency stat. But well, I guess if you only have max health and stuff like that, I guess you can have it like that. But basically, it's a way to calculate people's damage or see how good people are in damage wise. So
Yeah.
So that's really important for in-game players.
Yeah, it's the main factor.
So we did learn a little bit about being free to play and kind of putting in all the massive hours you have to put into it, because when I watched your stream and stuff like that, I do see you like being in those elemental worlds kind of like all the time, basically.
Yeah, so it takes me like average 1 hour to farm 210 boxes of each. But that's only for one elemental, which I need to basically every day I farm like 210 of each box. So it's basically at least 3 hours of farming, as I said, those 3 basic hours.
Yeah.
And during those hours, everything I farm, every item, I pick it up, I would collect it, and at the end of the day, of those hours farming, I just basically go to my inventory and check my fox, and normally I always make around 100k to 200 on decons.
Yeah, so that's that. So how much does that like calculate into? You would say like core efficiency stat, like if like an hour of farming, how would that convert kind of into? How much efficiency stat would that be kind of an average, you would say?
It's not really that easy to say that, because there are too many factors into that.
Yeah, of course there's the, when you use the builders, right? Isn't that the builders you use for, isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, the builders.
Yeah, the builders augmentation thing there.
No, builders precise focus.
Yeah, exactly. I think the percentage, isn't it like from 1 to 5% or something like that you get from it, or is it even
1.25?
1.25, yeah.
For 3 stat rolls.
Okay.
2.5. No. Shit. No, that ain't right. Etienne, that would be a bit off. Where the hell do I have that picture? I can start from the bottom. With 0 rolls, that will give you 5% on the stat.
Yeah, for the builders, yeah, or the middle tier, the silver one, you call it that.
For 1 boost, it will give you 2.5%. For 2 boosts, which is 2 rolls, will give you 1.667. And for 3 boosts, it will give you 1.25. Yeah, so I was right.
Okay.
I was just messing up.
So basically, you could kind of calculate that to like 1 hour of farming would be like 1 to 3% increase on one stat ish.
Yeah.
We're talking, of course, about like like the 2-star one, you know. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of farming for just, you know, if that gold stat, if you would call it like that, is like say 25%. That's a lot of hours to put into like one gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So it is possible to be done. What impressed me like a lot was when we were in the Shadow Towers together actually, and you used the Golden Dragon effigy. And I was like, Golden Dragon effigy? And I was like, how can he have that? I thought he was a free-to-play player. But then I realized, you know, the dragon caches, not the dragon caches, the credit pouches. Credit pouches, of course, you bought them, of course, the credit pouches off the marketplace from like Flux. So if I'm not mistaken, that was like 2.4 million, 2.1 million Flux you bought?
2.4 million if each credit pouch is 80k.
Yeah, 80k, around 80k. That's it goes up and down a little bit. I think it increases more when the weekly dragon deal is there. I think it goes all the way up to 100. I think that's like
I won't say 100, but like 90k. Yeah.
Oh, 90k. Okay, but still a lot. You know, it's still a lot. And you were lucky enough. You were lucky enough to get the Starfire one. I remember that. So you did also do a calculation. I think I'll link that below. If you're watching this on the YouTube, I'll link this below, the calculations that Killer did on the fragments you can farm. You know, the chocolate one. I don't know, not the chocolate one, right? There was the.
It's only the ones that are farmable out of minerals and mobs. Maybe Seer had helped me out on some of those maps because he touched me some things, and I just basically applied it into the dragons.
Yeah, and I did laugh quite a lot. I did quite a lot when I saw in the end you put a little text where it said that Chronosilla, if you guys knows her, she's great. She got one fragment from all the runs she did on the Starfire dragon, and you said in the end that she basically saved herself for like 834 hours of Shadow Towers or something like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I mean, knowing, because the thing is, I was really giving some really nice numbers into there. So I was putting above average, and now we know that some of the actual elites of the Shadow Tower don't drop them. It's kind of basically going to take even more.
Yeah, that was also something that was in the last live stream, and there was something about that. I don't know if they confirmed yet. I don't think they've confirmed it yet, but what happened, I can kind of explain it a little bit. There are some mini bosses in there that indicate that they are mini bosses, and they usually mini bosses in there drop at least one shadow shard for the shadow caches and so on and stuff like that. But I've also seen it myself that they didn't drop, and I didn't do that kind of what would you call it, that math, if you can say it like that, or that thing. I didn't think that they probably wouldn't drop it, but people's theory is that if they don't drop the shadow shards, they might not have a chance of dropping the Starfire fragments either. So that's what people kind of been saying,
about.
and they basically said they would look into it. So hopefully it's not like that, but at least hopefully we did make them aware of that some of them didn't drop shadow shards, because they should be at least dropping shadow shards. I don't know, I would also love them to, of course, let them see drop shadow of starfire fragments, but at least drop the shadow shards, right? Because we want those shadow shards as well.
But we know it's bad coding that they do sometimes, so we can find.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we actually did get into a little bit of one of the questions that we had. So we're going to take a few of the things from last. This is recorded or done live right after the developer stream, and we actually did see, like I said in the beginning, the new class, and we will get into that. But we will go over some of the things that Zero makes a forum post, and I will also link this in below on what questions was on the live stream, and he does this absolutely out of his own will, or what would you call it? Own.
I don't really have
the goodness of his heart, if you can say it like that. Let's just use that. And you've done it for a year, and I'm recently made now a news show I want to do like every week and stuff like that. But we're also going to discuss it here, and here we can kind of get Killer's opinion on it, and we kind of discuss it between each other. So it's kind of like a little bit like the same, but still a little bit more like a podcast thing. So we're going to go over first the Twitch Prime partnership. And I think this is in a step in the right direction because this podcast and so on is actually to grow the community and actually show there's actually quite a lot of great streamers out there like Killer, and there's a whole bunch of other people that I would love to have on the podcast to come on and like talk about these things and grow the streaming community. So what do you think about the partnership, the Prime partnership, and what was in the pack also, or in the goodies you got from the Prime?
Well, start off the pack was just with incentives, so players would go and see the streamers, because once they removed the Pokémon phones, basically, let's say streamers, the viewers just kind of went down and to the lowest. Now they did that pack so they could bump it up, but as well they basically put it a dragon that was basically only obtainable out of an event that happens yearly. So that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
But one thing that I like is that the mount that you get out of that pack doesn't give mastery. So, for example, other people that don't have the money or can't pay for that, or even get the trial, don't lose on Master Behind because of that.
Oh, which one was it you said again they didn't get the mastery from?
The mount.
Oh, the cycle.
Yeah, there's a mount that doesn't get. I don't know exactly the name.
Yeah. So basically, there's this, I call it the celebratory dragon. It was the one we got for, free. Well, we got it when they opened up PlayStation and the consoles, Xbox, they opened up for that. There was a whole event going on, and that is the dragon you get. So if you already have it, you don't get it again. Well, I don't know what really happens if you get it, but you really don't get it again. And there was an ally, some is in the game already. There's the shield guy. It's a pretty good ally actually, but it's very easy to get in game. And then they had the cycle, which is exclusively to only the pack. But like Killer said, it actually doesn't give mastery. So that's actually a very, very good thing, because we did have the little bit of an outcry this Tuesday, if you remember.
Oh yeah, the two mounts.
The two mounts, yeah, exactly. And I actually also recently made a video talking about when I thought the new update is coming out. So I'm predicting it's coming out on the 20th of March. What do you think about that?
It's either the third week or the fourth week of
Yeah.
March. So,
But my tinfoil hat, if you can say it like that, is saying, you know, because Fasty made a post saying that this hoverboard wasn't supposed to come out in about 6 weeks, and 6 weeks from Tuesday was the 20th of March, and they have said the new update or major content thing was going to come in March. So I feel like
yeah.
it would be a nice, nice. Or it feels like it's going to be around there or something like that.
I mean, one mount doesn't really tell everything that's coming out. Just basically get like the style that it has might give an idea of what the content is coming, but still, it's a very vague idea.
Yeah, I know it's not even 100%, of course not, but it was just, it seemed like it was kind of a suiting date. I would say when Fasty said it would be maybe around 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, I got you.
So that was a little bit of a sidetrack, but we kind of led to there because of the whole people were kind of a little bit upset that they didn't get the because that actually gave mastery. Both amounts gave mastery, so it kind of messed up a few people's top mastery and stuff like that. And I totally get that. You know, when you shouldn't be denied mastery just because of you not being on before the patch hits and stuff like that. So
yeah. Because they were thinking on just making people wait 6 weeks until they would get it.
Exactly.
But they ended up just putting both up so people would get them.
Yeah. So talking about packs, the new pack we also got. That's a word. That was the I don't know what the name of the pack is, but the one with the Griffin and the Ally and the wings and also a framework for at least 20 euros. It's on for Europeans. It's for 20. Don't know what the price is on in dollars, but it's at least 20 euros. So
it's around like $16.
Yeah, it's around $16. Yeah. What do you think about the pack? Not like the price and stuff like that, but what do you think about the content of the pack?
Honestly,
yeah,
just mastery.
Just mastery. Just thanks and bye. Like.
Yep. Yeah. Just mastery.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah. I kind of
people may use it, but at this point, we already have our style set, what we like to use or not. Not adding like a Griffin. Okay, some people might use a Griffin, but the Ally, I don't see many people using them. And even if they added some costumes with that pack, okay, that some of the people might even use it, but since it's all like Trine based, there are multiple people that don't like that team.
Yeah, definitely. I would love it. Like, to be honest, I think the wings are great. The wings are really great, but that's about it about the pack. And I think 20 is too much, to be honest. I would love to see like 15 or even 10, but I would probably have bought it if it was like, I know you wouldn't buy it because you're free to play, but it's like you say, a couple of costumes that was in theme with that, I think would be make it worth 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pack is definitely not worth it. Maybe it's if it's around for a Block Friday, I'll check it out. It's half price.
Yeah. Well, if you would consider me like, because there are some people that made the math where the effigy pack that costs, if you buy the credits with cash, that will be 50 euros. So you basically,
Sorry.
50 euros for a dragon
Oh.
and a few caches,
Yeah.
or you spend like 2.4 million flux.
Which is it could be translated into the kind of the same thing if you take like time versus money and stuff like that, or
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, dragon. But I feel like you get more out of dragon effigies. I'm not sure how much you actually get. Would you get the same amount of mastery from the $20 pack as you would get as a golden dragon effigy? Because you get 350 for a dragon, right?
250.
Oh, 250? I thought it was 350. Oh.
No, 250 for all dragons, no exception.
Okay. Well,
the
then it's
pack gives a little bit extra. I think it gives 265 or 285. I'm not sure. I know it gives way more than 250.
Okay. So it could, in a sense, be quite close to each other, or be worth it actually to pick up.
Yeah, calculating if you see like how much money you would spend from one to another. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So they talked about some new changes to Flux and Glim from adventuring boxes. I don't think we have to talk so much about that, but we could say that we do would love to see some more ways of increasing both Flux income and Glim income. That's kind of
even more.
Yeah, or I really enjoyed how they did the flux thing with the crystals and stuff like that. Makes people want to, or kind of not forcing, but give people a better incentive to go and doing dungeons and stuff like that. Instead of just running through Shadow Towers, doing everything there, maybe like for a quick XP grind and stuff like that.
I mean, you can still get those flux crystals, artifacts, and relics out of Shadow Towers. But that's basically just an extra. It's just like a thinking of mine. Maybe people some agree or not. For one of the new dragons that's coming, possibly the Waxian, that Dev said already that he will be coming in game as a dragon itself.
Yeah.
Save the goddamn relics, artifacts, and crystals, because there's just a thought or a rumor around that you might actually need a few thousand of them to use.
Oh, like that. Yeah, as a crafting resource.
Yes.
Interesting idea.
Or just maybe like 1 million flux.
Yeah, I think it would be an expensive one in definitely either crystals or like straight up flux. All right, we talked about the Starfire fragments. That's also a thing. Next thing is magic find limit. Do you think there should be a magic find limit?
Hell no. Here is more magic find. That's all we need.
Even more magic find. Today I found out that it's around. Well, you said it actually. It was 4,954.
54, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. I don't know the exact number.
At least it's 4,000, almost 5,000 magic find at the moment. And to any people that are out there that think that if you have 5,000 magic find, you will find a stellar in every dungeon, that is not the case. So before I burst everybody's bubble and then like everybody's like, oh yeah, then we need like 10,000 magic find. No, it's not that much, but you do see them quite often when you do have that 5,000. I would assume. I only have personally 4.1, so I'm a little bit away from that.
Yeah, you might not know like a theory that I made about magic finds.
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, I didn't really like made it too exposed to everybody.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's magic find around invisible karma.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have like links to that, just give them to Discord. I'll pull them in. Also, that in the description. You definitely have to send me the dragon fragment one again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But talking about Magic Find, what I kind of wanted to get into Magic Find is that we also people are talking about like a new tier of item, and we actually discussed this before the podcast. About a new tier, and people have been speculating that it's going to be called I keep forgetting the name. It's astral tier. So we have radiant, stellar, and then astral would be the new perhaps the new tier. And we were talking about this because of Magic Find, and how the influence of that, if it's keep going like this, then the endgame players are probably going to see a lot of them and going to benefit a whole bunch of it. But what we talked about was that it was not an item, or astral items should not drop, but they should be crafted. So you would go from stellar 5s to astral, and then astral 1, 2, 4, 5, and that way. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about being crafted instead of just being dropped? And
I mean, that would be a way of not buying into the game, because as we know, we can buy towers and just push the power rank itself. But that may probably not even happen. Just as we know, Trine just makes everything droppable.
Yeah.
So, as they said, they wanted players to get the new tiers on a different way. But they say a different way, but it will just basically be a higher tier rolled. So over 10, 11, or 12.
Yeah. And again, we're not confirming or anything like that it's going to be called Astral or anything like that. It was just a name that has been thrown around and stuff like that. It might not end up the name at all, but so it was just it's just a to kind of give it a name. We could also call it Cosmic or Interstellar. I don't know. Next thing I think we should talk about, and I think this is one of the I wouldn't say it's the best question of the last time, but about dragon fragments, like any of them basically, but mostly like I'm thinking about the chocolate one, I'm talking about the deep sea one, I'm talking about the pirate one, which we randomly find when you grind, and you probably already have the dragon, and then you're sitting around with these fragments, and then you loot collect them for 400 flux, which seems kind of okay for people that doesn't need dragon coins. But what they said was that, or asked if they could loot collect into dragon coins instead of the 400 flux, and I think that's absolutely a great thing for newer players. They makes incentive to get more of these dragons and actually get your dragon coins up, and dragon coins wouldn't be so limited in the same thing.
Yes, but there's another point on that.
Yeah,
that will never happen, just because of the fact that people can overuse that.
In what sense would they overuse that?
Let's say to the point where people won't be able to farm dragons. Where, for example, not talking about end gamers, I'm talking about, like, say, mid gamers, people that need dragon coins.
Yeah, mid-tier players, new players, yeah.
Not new players.
No, okay, mid-tier players, yeah.
Yes.
Mid-game.
They will be farming every single dragon they would find, probably not even inviting anyone, as we have on the dragon chat and Trove. They'll just rush through the world, kill it, find the next one, so they could get as many dragon coins as they could, as on that point where newbies get into the world and look for dragons where they need the fragments, they won't be able to, which would slow the progress.
Yeah, there would definitely be a backside to that, definitely. But yeah, that might be a true thing. I just saw it as a positive, as people are feel like they're super limited to getting dragon coins, and I know that it has been a concern of some people in my chat, or that's dropped by and said, I really want this dragon, but I just don't have the dragon coins for it, and that's what's holding me back. Eventually, of course, they do get them, but yeah.
Yeah. They could make another way of getting dragon coins without being the tomes and do daily challenges. But out of dragon fragments,
Yeah.
especially of those that are super easy to farm, no.
Yeah. Maybe they could also make a combination. Maybe, I don't know if that's a thing. Like a little bit less flux, like 100 less flux, and then like 5 dragon coins or something like that per fragment, or even less, like 1 dragon coin per fragment or something like that. Where it's like, we didn't really do it for the dragon fragments or dragon coins, but it still be a little bit a way for to get closer to it.
If they would do that, they would probably do this: 10 fragments for 1 dragon coin.
Yeah.
If they would do that, but even then, I don't know.
And then maybe only have it as a deal when Lucian, or whatever his name is, the Flux Dragon is up, for example. So
I mean, they could, let's say, limit it. So, for example, you could only convert an X amount of fragments per week, as we have for Shell Towers, where you do them once and you don't get the rewards anymore. They could just basically, where you craft, and then, let's say, 5 times, and you cannot craft more.
Yeah, definitely. That could also be a thing that, or you could use your Titan Souls for getting Dragon Coins or something like that. That would be an easier fix, or whatever you can say, like to a problem with people getting Dragon Coins and stuff like that. It's an interesting topic, you know. There's definitely a lot of you know, there should be other methods to catch up, you know. All right, I think we're around about that time where we're gonna discuss or talk about the new class. I did say we're gonna talk about in the start, but we kind of ended up talking about a whole bunch of other things. So that was great. This is what it's about, you know, talking. So we're doing it right, at least. But the new class, this was talked about in the last live stream, and we just saw it. The developers thing, and I'll probably also link to that in the description if I remember to put it in there as well. The live stream they did in like 5 minutes, quote unquote, gameplay. They kind of showed it being it's gonna be a monk kind of type, where it can be turned from melee to physical. Oh, sorry, range. That's what I mean. We don't know if it's physical or magic.
It's physical.
It's physical? Okay, it's physical. Okay.
That was already announced it was a physical class.
Oh, they already announced it was a physical. Okay.
I think so. Might be wrong.
Okay. But the point is, it has like 2 stands kind of thing, where it switched to being like melee and being ranged, and they're introducing something new that I think is absolutely amazing. They're introducing a new weapon type, and that's going to be claws, I think. Claws, yeah. They showed it off. It looked pretty awesome. It had a flying ability. Then when it landed on the ground, it like destroyed some of the blocks. I don't think that if that was an mechanic or what it was. What did you feel like when you saw the class? What do you think about like claws and stuff?
One thing I think is that they made it so it's like that class where it's a combination of Lunamancer. So you have basically his movement speed. You have his type of attacks, where instead of being swings, are slashes of the claws. Then you have the transformation, which is to the range, where it's basically a gunslinger on a staff. So it's basically magic. And then you have the part where he basically pulls, like throws an object where once it hits the ground, it pulls the enemies for a short amount of time. And you have the flying ability. Flying, I mean gliding.
Yeah.
It's like a mix overall, which is going to be decent for farming. It's not going to be the overall best. It's going to be decent for farming.
Yeah.
And it's going to be alright for Shadow Towers.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end up. Don't you think it's gonna end up like the boomeranger is at the moment? It can both use a bow and a sword, but mostly you just use a sword because, well, a little bit about the coding and stuff like that. But the ability of shooting is not as good as using a sword. So don't you think it's gonna be a little like that that people are gonna prefer one
The
thing and the other?
the range is gonna be overused on Shadow Towers. Also, one thing about Boomeranger that you may not know is if you use melee, your hits will hit harder, but the chickens won't. But if you use the bow, your damage is lower than a normal, but the chickens will do an extra like 25% damage.
Oh, okay. So
You was
what do people normally prefer? Because I have no much knowledge about the boomerang. I use a sword preferably myself because I feel like that's the best for him. But,
sword farming, bow, Shadow Towers. Suppose that.
okay. Cool. Well, we'll definitely have to see about this class, and it's great to get a class that we can level again. It's been a while since I've all my experience been going to somewhere like in just the weekly leader XP thing where we get the leaderboard or the reward. Now it's called leaderboard reward boxes, but the daily loot boxes. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's just gonna be like 10 hours of farming and should be done. Excellent.
Yeah, it's gonna be great just leveling up a character again and have something new and stuff like that, and theorize a little bit about it and stuff like that, and 100%. I said this before. Also, when I talked about the class, I talked about we should. I would really love to see a new weapon type, and we are going to see that. So I'm very excited to get that because we definitely feel like we need more of those. It makes the game a little bit more exciting for me, at least, when we have more weapon types. I know that the other classes can't use it, but kind of also introduce, like we had the lance, and then we got the revenant and the lunar lancer. So maybe we'll see another class that can maybe later this year, that can use his claws as well. I don't know in what sense that would make, but maybe some kind of rogue assassin thing. Maybe they could use claws.
I mean, for them to be adding claws into the game, that just means that their next class they might work on is gonna be another claw class, or maybe not. Maybe they might add like a staff or something, because they just added. They showed a new class with a different gear that we never saw before. So that is what's coming on March, as well. I think as well with the augmentations nerf. So you can not augmentations nerf. Augmentations buff where you don't need as many materials, I think.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel like I'm like my brain is thinking a little bit. How do you feel about like other classes being reworked so they can use different weapons? Like let's say the Near Ninja could use claws also. He can use sword, but he can also use claws, and that would in Trove it wouldn't really work at the moment. But I'm thinking like a more rework where there could be some benefits where it would be more attack speed, or you could get more attack speed on claws than you could get on a sword. How do you feel about classes being reworked in that sense to use different weapon types?
Well, they won't rework Neo Ninja, but they would possibly just add a new class with that type. Where so they added the claws now. What they'll probably do is add a new type of gear. So the claws are for physical damage, So what we're thinking, or at least I'm thinking, is that they will add a new gear type, so it goes towards magic damage. So it like equals both, I guess,
Yeah.
in gear ways.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting. So that was actually the new class, and we're probably gonna talk a lot more about that. I'm definitely gonna talk a lot more about it in the new show that I'm gonna do, and probably show some footage of it as well. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. There'll probably be some more on it next week. We're probably gonna see some more because it looks as it can be trialed at least. So I think they will, spice it up hopefully a little bit more on the live stream, and we will have to talk about a little bit more. But Killer, I think that is about the podcast. So I want to say thank you very much for joining me on this very first community podcast. And if you have some things you want to plug, like for example your Twitch or YouTube, or if you have anything like that, you're more than welcome to do that. I will of course also, guys, put all Killer's information in the description so you guys can find him out after here on the YouTubes. I will host him right after here. We'll start the stream. His stream, I will host him, and while he starts up, I will give away some stream redeemer codes here on stream for the people that are what would you call it, like hanging out with us right now. We do have a decent turnout, so thank you guys so much for watching me and Killer. And like I said, thank you, Killer. So the floor is yours for plugging if you have any.
Yeah, I just have one tip for every player in Trove that everyone should already know. Be patient. Everything will come with time.
And as we discussed in the beginning, you are a completely free-to-play player and at almost 500 mastery. So anybody that says, I like to use you as a as a weapon against the people that say, Trove is paid to win, but it's really not, just paid to a little bit faster than everybody else. And it is possible with time to get 500 mastery, but it's not going to be like one weekend of just casually playing.
No, it's nearly 3,000 hours of farming.
Yeah, but again, you guys can find. Do you have a YouTube, or is it only your stream?
I do have a YouTube. I will put some stuff in there, but not much stuff.
All right. Well, he has a YouTube, so check that out. It's gonna be in the link in the description. So you have to kind of send me like 3 links now, both to your spreadsheet and the other thing, and your YouTube, so I can link that in the description. Like I said, also check him out. His Twitch is also right there on it, and he streams actually almost every day, right?
I didn't stream on the last 2 days just because I was working on other stuff. But yeah, when I can, I always stream every day.
Yeah, almost every day. Okay, but Killer, again, thank you so much, and you can go start up your stream. I will start giving out some codes to some people. So again, thank you so much for coming, and I'll probably see you around, dude.
Yeah, I'll see you around. Have a good night farming.
Yeah, farming, yeah, exactly.